Hello everyone, my name is Max Papazian and today I'll be informing you on the Parthenon, a former temple on the Athenian Acropolis in Greece. Now before I get into detail, let us discuss the different types of Greek architecture. The ancient Greeks had a unique style of architecture that is still copied today in government buildings and major monuments throughout the world. Greek architecture is known for tall columns, intricate detail, symmetry, harmony, and balance. As seen in the slide, the column is the most prominent element in ancient Greek architecture. Columns supported the roof but also gave buildings a feeling of order, strength, and balance. The capital was a design at the top of the column. Some were plain like the Doric and some were elaborate like the Corinthian. The frieze was a decorative panel above the columns that contained relief sculptures. The sculptures often told a story or recorded an important event. The pediment was a triangle located at each end of the building between the frieze and the roof. It also contained decorative sculptures. And lastly, the inner chamber in the temple was called the cella or the naos. The Greeks built most of their temples and government buildings in three types of styles: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. These styles were reflected in the types of columns they used. Mostly all of the columns had grooves on the sides called fluting. This gave the columns a feeling of depth and balance. Doric columns were the most simple and the thickest of the Greek styles. They had no decoration at the base and a simple capital at the top. Doric columns tapered so they were wider at the bottom than the top. Ionic columns were thinner than the Doric and had a base at the bottom. The capital at the top was decorated with scrolls on each side. The most decorative of the three was the Corinthian. The capital was decorated with scrolls, the leaves of the acanthus plant. The Corinthian order became popular in the later era of Greece and also heavily copied by the Romans. As stated from the editors of History.com, the Parthenon is a resplendent marble temple built between 447 and 432 BC during the height of the ancient Greek Empire. Dedicated to the Greek goddess Athena, the Parthenon sits high atop a compound of temples known as the Acropolis of Athens. Throughout the centuries, the Parthenon withstood earthquakes, fire, wars, explosions, and looting, yet still remains, although battered, a powerful symbol of ancient Greece and Athenian culture. Today, it is one of the most recognized buildings in the world and an enduring symbol of ancient Greece. According to Cartwright, the celebrated Greek statesman Pericles is credited with ordering the design and construction of the Parthenon as a temple for Athena. According to the former coordinator of the late 20th century restoration, builders of the Parthenon mined 100,000 tons of marble from a quarry about 10 miles from Athens. Using wagons, they conveyed blocks of marble from the quarry and up the Acropolis's incline. The blocks were carved and trimmed by hand on site with meticulous precision, a necessity when building without mortar. Because the Athenians were a great naval power, experts speculate that they adeptly used a system of pulleys, ropes, and wood cranes to tow and lift the marble blocks. An earlier structure known as the Older Parthenon or Pre-Parthenon once existed on the site of the current Parthenon. Historians believe that the older Parthenon was under construction in 480 BC when the Persian Empire attacked Athens and destroyed the Acropolis, although some experts dispute this theory. As stated before, the three types of styles used in Greek architecture were Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. The Parthenon is a Doric temple with Ionic architectural features. According to Britannica.com, the Parthenon, measured by the top step of the base, is 101.34 feet wide by 228.14 feet long. Low steps surrounded each side of the building, and a portico of Doric columns standing on a platform create a border around it. There are 46 outer columns and 19 inner columns. The columns are slightly tapered to give the temple a symmetrical appearance. The corner columns are larger in diameter than the outer columns. Incredibly, the Parthenon contains no straight lines and no right angles, a true feat of Greek architecture. Lastly, and most importantly, stood a 39-foot statue of the goddess Athena housed by the Parthenon. Sadly, the statue no longer exists, but served as an angelic shrine at the time. In conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this presentation on the Parthenon, and I thank you for your time.